All right, good morning. Good morning. I am just realizing the level of style that I'm bringing here. It's out of this world, people. Out of this world. Me and Karma vibe like that. That's the that's what my t-shirt says. God, there will be a day when I look back and say, well, bold, bold choices. But none of this matters because nothing matters. It's cool to be awakened, people. It's cool. Tell you. All right. So I'm very excited to bring you this today. It's a weekend. I'm in my parents' house. This is my sister's old room. Um, and it's Saturday, and my brother's on his way. We're in Germany, and it's Spargelzeit, which it's certain time of the year where you get asparagus, like the white asparagus. And so we're going to have this for lunch, and he's on his way. He's bringing sauce hollandaise. Is that, what's the English term for that? Well, it's a white sauce you're eating with white asparagus, and it's very delicious. And my heart is filled with family love, and it's lovely. And I'm excited to bring you this here. And do I set the stage before I read? I am in a group that is of, I'm just hearing my dad and my brother because my brother just arrived. It's lovely. It's lovely. Part of a group of women doing very important work, very high level work, high level meaning, and at the leading edge of human evolution and the human consciousness, and moving from our still fear driven duality experience, where humanity is right now still, and we will be for quite a while. But this group of people has really committed themselves to move towards the light. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. To eradicate the codes, the genetic codes of guilt and fear and shame, and that is where humanity is going. That is where we're collectively going. And it takes a lot of work because at some point those codes will just drop from our genome, and then new babies that are being born are don't even have those codes anymore. Those babies are being born already. It has already begun. But for us to who have lived a good portion of this lifetime and lots of previous lifetimes with the old codes, to make a conscious decision to do conscious work in changing our genes in that way, and our experience, and that's where it starts. We choose to change our experience. Our perception creates our experience, and from that, everything else gets built. Like you can kind of what's that called? Like uh, like when you engineer something but backwards. What's the word for that? God damn it. My brain will not let that go. I could look it up, but oh well. Reverse engineer. Thank you, brain. Um, so you can reverse engineer everything and anything. It can just change on a genetic level, and then your whole experience is different, and that happens. And those are moments of awakening, which I just had in Bali. And then everything looks different all of a sudden, like it's from the source point, from the origin point. It's different. Everything is different. That ripples out from that. But you can also, which is the more effortful way, you can from the outside choose to have a different experience, and then reverse engineer and help the inner shift to happen sooner, basically. It all happens, basically. I mean, that's the whole thing. Like it happens on divine timing, but it real shifts on a cellular level, they occur. We cannot force them. We have to trust that they occur when everything inside and out is right for it to occur. But we can shift our whole being, our experience in a way where we prepare ourselves and just offer ourselves to this shift. And then the universe will still have to say, okay, yes, now. And then the shift happens. So in this group, we're doing this kind of work. And basically, what that means for humanity as a whole and for us as a group is to follow divine guidance in a non resistant, completely surrendered way. Heart open, trust, 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 while at the same time having the experience of density and heaviness and pain, because it's still part of our world and experience. But in every moment where darkness occurs, where there's fear coming up, that is our commitment to come back to trust, to come back to surrender, to come back to an open heart. And inside that group, something occurred where there was a difference in opinion, and it actually changed something about the group. It changed something about the group. So moving forward, there will be a change. Exact situation is not important. It's never important. The codes inside the situation are important. And when you find yourself, listening to anyone, even to me, and going, but what happened? I want to know. I have the same feeling. And when I have those feelings, I realize this is distraction. That is the mind jumping onto the story. It's fine. It's the mind's job even to do that. Because that's a whole other thing, another download that I got recently, but we will have to put this on another call. The mind creates stories in order to bind the energies of the universe that are flowing through the universe, through us, and they're moving at all times. There's no stopping. They're in movement all the times. There's actually it's creating a problem when you stop something. But with ever moving energy, our ego, which is a healthy part, it grounds us in our uniqueness and our individuality in the here and now. We need it. We don't need a hurt and toxic ego, but we need our ego. And part of the ego, the function of the ego, is the mind. One of the most important players of the ego, which is why we have to control the mind. Control meaning in a healthy way, not be a servant of our mind, but be the master of our mind, because otherwise it'll go rampant and do stuff that doesn't serve us in a beautiful experience. But what the mind does, because it's already the mind is playing in the team of ego, of here and now, of definition, of knowing where I'm now, here now, knowing who I am, also knowing myself separate from others. That is the team in which the mind plays, which it takes it too far all the time, basically, which is why we create problems. But because that is the job of the mind, when there's energies of the universe ever flowing, you can never you can't really touch, like, of course you can touch it, but you cannot stop it. You cannot hold it and like look at it like, what is this? It's ever moving, and that is terrifying to the mind. So what the mind does in order to freaking get a hold on the situation is spinning stories around an energy that comes in, it's wrapping it in stories, and then it holds it in. And only with the story we can we can hold on to an emotion, to an energy. And the more story we spin around an energy, an emotion, the more it stays with us, the more it's available to us, even to feel, to look at, to talk about, to ravel into all the things, good things and bad things. So what we want to do is we want to be very conscious about which energies that are flowing through the universe and then that just happen to pass us sometimes, which expresses itself as emotions. We want to be very conscious about which energies we take and spin stories around. Positive stories, that a story that's serving us, is that a story that's serving our bigger mission? Or is that a story that keeps us trapped in our old identity, which we actually, if we're being really honest, want to overcome because it doesn't serve us anymore? And same thing goes, that's a whole other topic. Then we enter the whole field of manifestation with beautiful emotions. There's energy flying around all the time. Sometimes it just happens to be that there's a huge wave of love and joy and bliss flowing through the universe, passing me by in my body, and all of a sudden it's here. I can absolutely use all my faculties to spin serving stories around that beautiful wave of energy and then have it in my body. Keep it as long as I want. Very potent bliss energies, which connect me to the highest realms of reality where everything happens just like that. And if I manage to connect my physical being, my conscious experience in the here and now with these high energies, when I actually manage to keep them clean, but here, that's where manifestation happens. So that's another conversation. Cannot go into that now because I have a lunch to go to. So this is the work that we're doing in this group. Something is changing going forward. If you're finding yourself, but what has changed? I want to know what. That is your mind jumping, wanting to grab a story, which that is the job of the mind. It's fine. But here, it is not serving us. It would be a distraction. So when it happens, ask yourself, is the story that my mind is demanding right now serving me? Or is it going to be a distraction? And if you are playing in the game, in the field and team of, we want to evolve as humanity, we actually want to do the work that really counts, then let it go. And at first, it'll feel like, but then it's not interesting. Yes. It is not the mind candy kind of interesting, but it's the deep work. And this maturity is needed. So something has occurred in the group moving forward, there's a change. And in this change, that's what occurred last night. I found myself questioning the story. Which this is my advantage right now because I actually know the story. But Even though, and that's also perhaps some good to notice and to mention, um, um, when we know the story, it is also very tempting and intriguing to stick with the story and just to like lose yourself in the story and find details and whatnot. And I am definitely someone who has done that in the past, and I'm sure it'll still happen here and not there. Um, but I actually made a beautiful shift, and that shift it kind of started building last night when I first, received those information. And the shift was like, would you really think that there's something wrong here? Do you really think that anything on this earth would not be guided by the absolute intelligence? Do you really think that, well, right now we don't see enough because right now not God, but me, I'm in the here and now. So I can only see so far. But zooming out, assuming God's view, not just bird's view, God's view, which transcends all time and space. Do you really think, that's the question that came through for me last night, that those amazing, capable human beings who are in this group, 1 year down the line, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, 50 years down the line, will look back at this moment and say, wow, this was really wrong? Or will they create a life, co create a life, which that moment was co created as well with God? Will they look back at this moment and say, because of that, so many beautiful things were able to happen? And to come back to this absolute trust. And it's a trust, it's not something that I'm getting right now in this moment. That trust is not even a, okay, I'm sitting here. Okay, I trust. The trust that I'm feeling with that is rather, it's like a pull, like from, what is it? There's a force inside that trust. It's asking me, it's really asking me to trust. It's not just me waving a white flag, like my mind waving a white flag and saying, okay, yes, I trust. Like passive, it's active, it's alive, the trust that I feel. um, and that's what came through last night and what is coming through even clearer now. And so this morning I sat down to write my letter, to ask to receive my letter. I write it, but I receive it. And I'm going to read you what came through about trust. Dear God, what would you have me know today? My love, trust is a decision. Your perception creates your world. That is how powerful you are. If you choose trust over and over again, you will build a world around you that is infused with your trust and that mirrors back more and more reasons for you to trust. You are the maker. Choosing trust, turning to me, is building heaven on earth. The opposite builds the opposite. My love, my grace, my wisdom are always available. They can create moments of light wherever you are. And then you build the next moment and the next. It is your continued choice that builds the world of your choice. You can remember and transform your life at any given moment, in any given situation. My light is great like that, you know. In fact, with the backdrop of great darkness, sometimes my light has even more impact. An important feature I have built into your world of duality. The ends touch, but they don't have to. It is your choice, as I said. I love you, God. Yeah. Trust. Choosing trust. And I had a conversation yesterday, actually a podcast recording, but yeah, I was inside the recording when this came up. Where what we have to understand is we go first and the universe responds. God meets us where we decide to go. Instead of, well, you prove to me that you're there and then I'll move. And that right here is an expression of that for me, because we choose trust. And by choosing trust, we are building a world that is easier and easier to trust. But it's our choice, our first step to choose trust, that is needed first. And from there, everything gets built. Everything trustworthy. And it's our job to trust regardless. It's unconditional trust. I like that. Unconditional trust. But then it becomes an upward spiral, because the universe has to respond. The law. All right, my loves. It's good. Some good stuff. Some good stuff. All right. I love you. And I'm going to go have lunch with my family now. And I'll see you soon.